X Coupe, but first here's Ted Laturnus with Audi's Quattro Coupe.
Although Audi called this their Quattro Coupe, in the traditional sense, it's not a coupe at all, but a hatchback.
Based on the '90 Quattro sedan, the Audi Coupe is a full-time four-wheel drive hatchback that has the best of both worlds, style and performance. Like its distant cousin, the Passat, the Quattro Coupe is a very European automobile with the kinds of features found only on cars from the other side of the pond. The styling, for example, is unmistakably German. Impeccably aerodynamic with a steeply raked windshield and a high rear deck, the Quattro continues to establish Audi as a leader in contemporary styling. Even the wraparound rear spoiler and roof-mounted radio antenna look good. And the Speedline alloy wheels and flared fenders add just the right amount of muscle. The Quattro Coupe is built like a brick shipyard, and it shows. And with twin camshafts and 4 valves per cylinder, it now has the power to back up its good looks. This is a 5-cylinder engine displacing 2.3 liters and developing 164 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. Only one transmission is offered, a 5-speed manual. The Quattro Coupe will accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just under 9 seconds and has a top speed of 218 kilometers an hour. Fuel consumption is a fairly reasonable 13.4 liters per 100 kilometers, or about 22 miles per gallon in the city, and 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers, or 31 miles per gallon on the highway. And the price for our test Quattro Coupe is $39,950, and for another $2,500, you can get leather upholstery. I really like the interior layout of this car. The seats are beautifully designed with excellent lumbar and thigh support. They even come with these handy cargo nets attached to the back. Drop down the rear seat and you get an impressive 907 liters of storage space. And not surprisingly, the Quattro Coupe comes with an integral ski sack, and rear cargo access is very good. Up front, tastefully applied Zebrano wood sets off the doors and center console, and all the controls fall easily to hand. One criticism I have here is the radio, which stays on even after the car is switched off. This is an Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche trademark, and one I've never gotten used to. I also found good old ingress and egress to be a little awkward because of the high bolster on these Recaro-type seats. But I certainly have no criticism for the way this car performs. Its four-wheel drive system has a center torsion differential, which means that power is automatically transmitted to each driving wheel according to road conditions. I've been in so-called off-road rigs with less traction than this thing. It may not be the fastest car around off the line, but once it hits its power around 5,000 RPM, it really comes into its own. Like most German performance automobiles, the Quattro challenges the driver. If you really want to fully appreciate this car, you have to drive it hard. It's unexceptional at low speeds and lacks the snap of many comparable models. Get full song, however, and it's a different situation entirely. The Quattro Coupe is not for everybody. There are much less expensive cars around that offer the same kind of around-town driving kicks, and equally pricey models that go faster on the highway. But if you appreciate quality of construction, unique styling, and European design, this is the car for you. The Quattro Coupe doesn't really have too many rivals. I suppose the Toyota Celica four-wheel drive turbo is a contender, and the Subaru Legacy Turbo as well. BMW's four-wheel drive 325iX is also in the same approximate market niche, and so is Audi's own '90 Quattro sedan, for that matter.
A nice car, but a trifle pricey.
It is expensive, and there are some things I didn't like about it, and there's nothing I can put my finger on really here, but I just didn't feel comfortable in the seats for some reason, and I thought the footwell was cramped and the pedals were close together, and as you say, it is kind of slow off the mark. It doesn't have the snap of many much less expensive cars. On the other hand, the build quality is unsurpassed. It's as good or better than anybody in the marketplace. Mid-range power is outstanding, and it does look distinctive, though I'd like to say some more about that.
Well, you have to like this car for its own sake. It kind of requires a leap of faith to buy it because it is expensive, and it really is unexceptional in a lot of ways. But if you look at it as a whole, it's a wonderful car. It's so European. I think that's what I like about it the best. You get inside and you say, this is a beautifully crafted automobile, and that alone is enough for me, but it might not be enough for everybody.
No, well, you're quite right. Sitting inside the car, you feel apart from my earlier comments about the footwells and so forth, everything feels so solid. All the materials are so good that are used in the vehicle. The textures are nice. The thing feels just wonderful. But it is expensive. You pay a lot for that. As far as the outside styling goes, I don't really like that slab-sided look, or the rather tacky-looking wheels, which look like sort of boy racer tire with lots of little nuts all around them.
Those wheels are great. Those really handsome. Those good-looking car. The car conveys a feeling of I don't know, power and muscularity, if I can use that word. It looks like a good, strong car. This car, you know, is going to last for 20 years. It's built so well.
Oh, I'm sure it will, yeah. I have a sentimental attachment to the old Audi Quattro Coupe, which I thought was one of the great cars of the last 20 years, if you want my opinion. It had a lot of a very distinctive look to it and so forth. It had something of a cult following. And this one, to me, doesn't quite match up to that.
Well, I have to disagree with you. Anyway, it's a red light, green light. What don't we think about it? The price is a little steep. You're around 40 grand for this one. Acceleration, again, in low revs is not that great. Better at high speed. Styling, I think, is a knockout. Assembly, you can't beat it. Fit and finish is unsurpassed. As far as driving dollar value goes, I give it 3/4 of a tank, but only because it's so expensive. Otherwise, it would be a full tank.
We'll be back after the break with a look at GM's